In the middle of the Pacific Ocean lies a tiny island nation called Nauru, barely 8 square kilometers in size. Not too long ago, this tiny island was considered the richest country on Earth per capita. But today, that same nation has become one of the poorest, most environmentally destroyed places in the world, surviving largely on the mercy of Australia. In this video, we'll uncover how Nauru, a nation smaller than New York City, went from unimaginable wealth to near collapse in just a few decades. Nauru is a tiny island in the Pacific Ocean, having a population of around 12,000. For centuries, Nauruans lived simple lives, fishing, farming coconuts, and surviving off what the island could provide. It was isolated, peaceful, and poor. But everything changed in the early 20th century when outsiders noticed something strange about Nauru's soil. It was shimmering with white rock, something the world desperately needed. Phosphate, a key ingredient in fertilizer. Global demand for fertilizer was skyrocketing, and Nauru was sitting on one of the richest phosphate deposits on the planet. By the 1970s, this tiny island was earning billions of dollars. On paper, it had the highest GDP per capita in the world, around $50,000 at the time, which is roughly $320,000 in today's money when adjusted for inflation. Suddenly, Nauruans went from fishing villages to Ferraris and luxury mansions. Imported cars clogged roads that barely existed. They built Nauru House, a skyscraper in the heart of Melbourne, Australia. They even launched Air Nauru, once dubbed the world's only 5-star airline for its extravagant service, though it often flew half-empty. For a brief moment, Nauru looked like paradise, but the money wasn't invested wisely. Instead of saving for the future, it was spent recklessly. Billions poured in, but billions were also wasted. Corruption flourished. Loans were taken out against future phosphate income. Poor financial decisions drained the country's reserves. And while money was flowing, the mining continued relentlessly. Nauru had only one real resource, and they were literally digging it out of the ground. By the 1990s, due to continuous digging, 80% of Nauru's land was left barren and uninhabitable. The lush interior was transformed into a wasteland of jagged limestone. Farmland vanished, leaving the island dependent on imports for food. Health problems skyrocketed. Nauru now has one of the highest rates of obesity and diabetes in the world, fueled by a shift from local diets to processed imports. The environment was destroyed, the economy was collapsing, and the money was gone. By the early 2000s, Nauru was effectively bankrupt. Its national airline was grounded. Its skyscraper in Melbourne was repossessed. The country had gone from the world's richest per person to begging for aid. In desperation, Nauru turned to controversial deals. In the 1990s, Nauru reinvented itself as a tax haven and money laundering hub. The island began handing out offshore banking licenses with almost no requirements. Many banks didn't even exist beyond paperwork. At the same time, Nauru sold passports to foreigners with little vetting, turning citizenship into a quick cash grab. This loose system attracted criminal networks, and by the late 1990s, an estimated $70 billion was funneled through Nauruan banks. The scale was absurd for such a tiny nation, and it eventually drew international backlash, with the U.S. Treasury blacklisting Nauru in 2002 as a high-risk money laundering state and cutting off its access to dollar transactions. Under growing pressure from FAF and international partners, Nauru was forced to shut down its offshore banking industry and pass anti-money laundering laws. But with its finances in ruins, the island turned to another controversial source of income, striking a deal with Australia to host a migrant detention center, which quickly became one of Nauru's main revenue streams. Today, Nauru survives largely on foreign aid, remittances, and Australian support. Climate change threatens its very existence, as rising sea levels could swallow the already devastated island. The phosphate that made it rich is mostly gone. The land is scarred. The people face a future of uncertainty. So, what can we learn from Nauru? It's a reminder that natural resources are not forever. Wealth, if not managed wisely, can vanish overnight. And a nation, no matter how rich, must think about the long term or risk losing everything. If you found this story eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon so you don't miss more fascinating rise and fall stories from around the world.